Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot, with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate along the way, it would truly mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are truly new, we do things completely differently on this channel, so I just suggest strapping in, hanging on, and we'll find out together. So with that, we're going to go ahead and hop to your prayer and see what's going on with that. I did want to say really quickly, we're going to be doing what are your hidden gifts and talents. We're going to be using the Wild Unknown Alchemy Oracle by Kim Krans today, because I felt like this was such a fitting oracle to use for this. And we have 3, 2, and 1, and this is actually pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, but I rolled the dice and that's how they came out. And I kind of sat here and laughed for a minute because I was like, I just love when Source does these little things that Source does. So let's get to your prayer and let's get this reading underway. Okay, my beloved Source, this prayer is for any and everyone who come on to this reading, whether it's for a moment's time or for the entire time. I ask that you open up the pathway, the gateway, for us to discover what secret hidden talents we might have, or what secret hidden gifts we might have yet to discover. Sometimes we're thinking we're not that talented or gifted at all. We feel so normal or we feel so mundane in the world, and this is actually one of the furthest things from the truth, because each of us has something uniquely beautiful and wonderful to offer the world and to offer ourselves. It's not necessarily about going out and having world fame, is it? It's about being able to serve in a way that makes us feel fulfilled. No matter how large or small that might seem, each one is equally impactful as the other, and that there is no right or wrong, but there is a right or wrong for each of us. And I ask that you help us to find that path. What is my right path? What is my right alignment? What is my right gift to delve into? And may the same be true for each and every one of my fellow humans here. If we are asking ourselves these questions, we know that we can open our hearts to you bringing forth the answer. We know that we can open our arms and receive that which is meant for us. Also, I ask that you give us the courage to turn away from those things that might seem glittery and sparkly and shiny, but that are actually not aligned with us, that might be there to deter us or distract us from that which is. So I ask us to open our hearts, and I ask, Source, that you fill our hearts with your love and your grace, your kindness and your compassion. As these words are spoken onto this tribe and upon this reading, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Aseh. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved Source. Thank you. Alright, let me get that set up over here. Oh, how did I know he was trying to fall out? I have a hanging incense burner, for those of you that might not know. And sometimes it just doesn't want to hang in there, and other times it's fine. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. I'm going to give these a shuffle. These cards are rather awkward for me, but I'll do my best. So, Source, what are my fellow humans' hidden talents and gifts? What are my fellow humans' hidden talents and gifts? What are my fellow humans' hidden talents and gifts, Source? What are my fellow humans' hidden talents and gifts? Wow. Alright. Thank you, Source. For pile number 1, what alchemy oracle card will help us better understand what pile number 1's hidden gifts or talents are? Wow, right away, right off the bat. I'm actually going to put it this way. Okay, for pile number 2, Source, what wild unknown alchemy oracle card will help us better understand what pile number 2's hidden gifts or talents are? Thank you. And for pile number 3, Source, what wild unknown alchemy oracle card will help us better understand what are pile number 3's hidden gifts and talents? Okay, it feels like it's this one. Yeah. Alright, let's see what the collective energy is. Saturn. Right off the bat, this is interesting for Saturn to come out as my collective's energy. You are a collective of triggers. Like, you're sent here to trigger awakenings just by being yourself, right? This is a death. This is the death of the old into the light of the new. And it's not easy, right? And I feel like for you personally, if this is resonating with you, for you, it's something that has been a burden much of your life. Because people are triggered, they treat you all sorts of ways, right? They get mad at you just for being you, or they get mad at you for succeeding, or they get mad at you for the wisdom that you have, or they get mad at you because things seemingly come so easy to you. And what they're not realizing is that you're a human and a person too. You have feelings, and you're not some robot sent here from some mechanical world where you're able to just take on everything without feeling. And I feel like a lot of times, like, that's really hard for other people who paint this picture in their head, right? They're trying to fill in the gaps, and by filling in the gaps, their emotional ego is just automatically saying, oh, well, it's easy for them. And what one of your hidden talents and gifts are is that you are actually helping to break that down, because regardless of when these people come and attack you, there's something about either your spirit, your aura, how you present yourself, how you communicate, anything of this nature that actually, it's not a repellent. It's like you're bathing them with the light. You're bathing them with the truth. And all I see is the darkness withering, right? And the darkness begins to wither. And so your secret talent or your secret gift here has to do with the ability to transmute your difficult times, your challenges in life, the hard things that you experience, into something for the journey of light and love, for the positive journey ahead. And it's something that has maybe baffled you at many a time, or has left you speechless, or has left you utterly destroyed and on the floor, right? When I hear that, lying on the floor. What is that Natalie Imbruglia song? Bound and broken, laying on the naked on the floor. I can't remember how it goes, but that's what it feels like. Like, yeah, that's the energy though. Bound and broken. I wish I could remember how that song goes, but I think it's by Natalie Imbruglia, and it's you're a little late, I'm already torn. Bound and broken on the floor. Yeah, it's Torn. That's the name of the song. Yeah, Torn. Right? You've been torn time and time again. You've been bound by other people. You've been bound by thoughts. You've been bound by yourself. Broken. Feeling broken. But recognizing as you're healing that you're never truly broken, that you are actually a whole being. And this might seem an odd gift, right? Like, wow, that's a weird kind of gift to have. But it's actually incredibly powerful in a world that is becoming more saturated with narcissistic mindsets. Not necessarily narcissistic people, okay? But narcissistic mindsets. And this is something that combats that in the way of light. Because it's reminding people to humble themselves, and it's reminding people that you're not alone feeling what you're feeling, and it humbles people into a place of seeing like, wow, there are other people out here who, while it might seem easy for them, it's actually not, because we never went to go and ask what their story was, right? If people ask you what your story is, I feel like you leave them speechless because you survived so much. And other people are like, oh, you don't know what I've gone through, or you don't know what it's like to live life, or you don't know what it's like to suffer. And yet they don't even know two things about you. They don't even know your last name. They don't even know your first name. They don't even know who you are, where you come from. And yet they've already judged you. And that's something that was bound to happen. That's something that you agreed to as a soul to come here to, because you have thick soul skin, okay? Like, your soul skin is very thick. It's impenetrable, right? While even the human form might seem fragile in comparison to the soul skin, but it's also, it's seeping into your human self, and you're not feeling so fragile anymore. And the more you transmute, the more you heal, and the more you have these egoic deaths and transformations, and working through these hard things and letting go of barriers and upsets and instilling strong boundaries, the more you realize, wow, I see different things now than what I saw before. And it's inspiring and it's enlightening. And seven is a number of luck if you change what it is that you're doing. But the only way that we can change is by letting go. With the scythe here, by cutting out the old, cutting out the darkness. Isn't it interesting that the scythe is specifically in the darkness here? So we have here, it says Saturn is deeply related to time and chronology. It is linked to the Greek god Kronos and the father time. Consider your relationship with the clock today, and above all, don't be late. It says, ironically, and to the amusement of the anarchists everywhere, the authoritarian energy of Saturn, and the candle just went out, is said to reside in the middle finger. Oh, that big F-U, right? It says, and look, they don't, obviously she didn't do that on here, but she put the gold piece over the middle finger. It says structure, authority, and consequences. Saturn is known as the great ruler, the authoritative father, and the structuring force. Limitations, rules, logistics, and laws all fall under Saturn's claim, and they insist our adherence. Saturn constricts, it corrects, it governs. The force of this planet is mind-boggling, frustratingly, especially for creative types, as it can feel like one limitation after another, yet its ability to support is unmatched. No creative project can come to be without Saturnian qualities of commitment, endurance, and steadiness. The tick of the clock reminds us that this planet's steadfast presence, eternally measuring, it's no surprise it's associated with the metal lead, and qualities of density and weight. To embrace Saturn is to embrace the foundation and becomes one's own central authority. It's not as dull or as easy as it sounds. That is Saturn's secret. To go deeper, read the poem The Core of Masculinity by Rumi, and to ponder silence is power. So this is crazy, right? This energy. The secret of Saturn is remembering that it's becoming one's own central authority. And I feel like that's what it's taken for you, is to discover this gift of being able to stand within your power and to be the authority on your own life, no matter how other people show up. Right? Not being deterred by others, and not being forced aside by others as well, just because they have it in their mind that you didn't have to live a human life, which is what we've all come to experience in this earthly school. No one is free from it. And the other thing is no one gets out alive. Right? Like, we all go through the same ups and downs. We all go through the same hardships. But sometimes it's really hard for other people to see that, because when you ostracize yourself for so long, it's easy to start ostracizing others, right? It's easy to judge others. It's easy to push others aside, because misery loves company. And we talk about that a lot. Hurt people. And we have to remember that and not take that personal. And I feel like that's something that you've definitely learned how to do in this journey. Okay, I'm going to try and get these feathers to fit on here. So today is pick your feather. We got them out. Now, I know this next one is not going to fit because it's an owl feather and it's too long for that, but that's okay. Alright, let me light this other candle. I got a red candle today for grounding. Alright, don't mind my torch here. When you camp, that's the best thing to have around. Alright, so for pile number 1, we have the 3rd house on this dice. Wow, did my camera move over? Did I move it over? Okay. Okay, or we have this owl feather for you to choose from. And I found every one of the feathers that I own. I have found them on walks, out in nature. This one I found in Missouri, in a back trail on the hill. They called it the Bloody Hill, and I can't remember exactly where it was, over in Springfield. I cannot remember what it's exactly called, but yeah, I found it in a back trail over there. Okay, and then for pile number 2, we have this dice with the 2nd house on it. Alright, we have this duck feather that's all white that I found in Arizona, Mesa, Arizona. And for pile number 3, we have this dice with the 1st house on it. We have this duck feather that I also found in Mesa, Arizona. Okay, so we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And whichever pile you feel drawn to, that should be the one for you. And I will see you over on your chosen pile. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the 3rd house on it, or if you were drawn to this owl feather, actually, I think I'm going to move this around. Or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be a reading on what are your secret or what are your hidden gifts and talents. I do want to say thank you to anyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And for anybody new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together. And this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And if you are truly new here, we do things completely differently on this channel. So I suggest strapping in, hanging on, and you and I are going to find out together And if the messages should happen to resonate along the way, it would truly mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out. Source, what are pile number 1's hidden talents and gifts? What are pile number 1's hidden talents and gifts? What would you like to share with us today, Source? What are pile number 1's hidden talents and gifts? Okay, so we've got the 5th house, we've got Mars energy, and we have Sag. So we have Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius here with the dice. Very fiery energy, very passionate about life. Here's the thing, like this is something that's coming through really strongly, is that you have the power to lead from a place of integrity, a place of authenticity, also a place of play and fun and adventure. Like, hey, leading doesn't have to be so boom, 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 no, 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 do what I say, you know. It can be fun, and we can teach each other, and we can learn from each other, and that's really what this feels like. It's one of your hidden talents that are coming through, but you might wonder, why is that a hidden talent? But it is, because there's a lot of people who are in authority positions, and they're not leaders, they're bosses, and bosses and leaders are two different things. And, you know, like you have a lot of people who are in higher positions that are very tyrannical and very dictatorial, right? Like you have to do exactly what I say, and if you don't, then you're going to get in trouble. They don't lead by example. But I feel like that's a very powerful gift to have. It's a very powerful talent to have as well. Is your ability to show others that this is how we go about this. This is how we work together. And while you can bring the heat and you can absolutely burn people, you could absolutely torch people if you wanted to, oftentimes I do feel like there's this tempering that's happening where you're not. You're very straightforward and you're very blunt, but with a purpose and with deep honesty and wisdom, and you're very much tapping into your higher self and the higher realms as well. You're tapping into it could be the Cashapp record as well, right? So you're able to bring that wisdom and share it with others in a clear manner that is easy for them to grasp onto, while also taking the helm. Like, I've learned this from my own experience. I'm the one that has, you know, dabbled in this first, and so I'm not just sharing this with you without having first have gotten into the fire. Right? So you're coming as transformed from the fires, because there's so much fire here. You're coming transformed from the fires, and you're showing others and giving them courage and how to walk through what is scary and what is unknown and what is potentially overwhelming and feels like it could destroy us, but you hold their hand through it in a way that they're able to help others as well, right? So it's like you're the leader, but it's like a chain of people. And there's this energy that's coming in where I feel like this was at first a very creative hobby for you. It's just like learning how to heal, or learning how to connect with your higher self, or connecting with the spiritual realm, like being very much in meditation or these certain things, right? And it doesn't have to be exact. This is just that energy where it's like you've really learned how to connect in a way that works for you. And now you're learning how to express that out into the world, and you're bringing forth your spirit authentically. You're bringing forth your spirit in a way that others are just truly inspired. You're very optimistic. But the expansion that you bring and the wisdom that you bring is unparalleled. You're like an old soul and a wanderer all mixed up into this package, and very energetic, and have a wealthy mindset. And people are willing to follow you wherever you go. You have a lot of passion for what you do, and you desire to have the ability to create for yourself. And you're doing that. Let's see if we can find out a little bit more here, what's coming through. I just keep getting this fiery energy, very fiery, very passionate. And that might not feel like a talent or a gift, but some people lack passion. So, you know, you definitely make up for it in a lot of different ways. But let's see what else comes out, because I feel like there's a reason why you're in this. And that could be to share, you know, histories. That could be to share, you know what I'm hearing, like political. Maybe you're into politics and you're helping to share wisdom and knowledge about politics, your government's politics, or like maybe community politics as well. So Source, what are pile number one's hidden talents and gifts? You're also incredibly psychic. What are pile number one's hidden talents and gifts? Whoa. Yeah, for you, pile one, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a people either love you or they hate you type of energy. Like, there's not really people are like, oh, pile one's okay. No, it's like pile one, oh my gosh, pile one's the best. They've helped me with so much. Or pile one, they're like, I can't stand pile one. Pile one, they're the bane of my existence, pile one. You know, I feel like it's just a love or hate. Like, there is no in between. And it's because you're very real about who you are. All right, let's see. What are pile number one's hidden gifts and talents? Creativity. Okay, so honestly, if we're being real, before we go on, one of your hidden gifts and talents is your ability to generate ideas, creative ideas. You are always getting inspiration. You're always getting downloads from source on what's going to be good to create or to help others create as well. I heard generator. You're an idea generator. Exhaustion with the 9 of Wands here, okay? On the bottom, we've got awareness with the Chariot. Look, what did I say? Like, burning things away, helping others to walk through the fire. And look at this image. It's like burning away the emotional ego and revealing the spirit that's inside. And that's exactly what you do. You've done this already. You went through the fires, right? And you came out a changed person, and you continue to walk back through the fires. Maybe the first time it was the worst possible thing that could have happened to you, having an emotional death, right? The egoic death. Could have been the worst thing in the world. But afterwards, the feeling that you got from it, that's what kept bringing you back, because you knew that that was changing you, and that you knew that was changing your life. And you have this talent for being able to do shadow work, especially with the 9 of Wands here in between creativity, and this is the Empress. And we have the Chariot here. So in between these two cards here, we see it's like, while there's moments where you're down and in the dumps and where it's hard and I can't get the courage to go, but I'm still moving because I know I have to. It's like you have these peaks that you're going through, and they're starting to level out. So where they were once like really insane, like all over the place, they're starting to become less and less and less. And as they even out, it's like you're able to transmute energy on the fly, right? So if something triggers you, you transmute that on the fly. You're not really having to sit down and sit with it like, oh, what is this triggering? Because the memory almost comes immediately. When the trigger happens, the memory is attached with the trigger now, and that's how you're able to transmute it. And I feel like that's what you're leading people to do, or you're showing other people to do, or, you know, you might not even be showing other people. That might just be because your energy is in that transmutation energy, that you're forcing other people. It sounds so brutal, right? Like it's not really forcing. It's that you're tapping into their higher selves, and their higher selves are doing work for them on the spiritual level. The Fool, yeah. You're unafraid. You're like the fearless leader. You jump in when there's trouble, you go running towards it. And people are like, we're supposed to run away from the trouble. And you're like, no, we're not. How would anything ever get solved if we were running away from it? And so you are the person who jumps in. Feet first, head first, arms first, it don't matter. Like, you just, however you're flying through the air, that's how you ended up, because you jumped. And you were okay with that. You're not worried about where you're going to end up because you know it's going to work out for you. And that might be like, well, how's that a talent? Honestly, it is. Ask anybody who doesn't feel this way. They're going to be like, that's a cool talent. Like, I wish I had that. I wish I had that gift of fearlessness. And I feel like for you, maybe pile one, it's something that you learned. It was like a learned character trait, something that you continued to build and continued to work on. And having it now, it's become more of a skill than anything else, but it's absolutely necessary. And all of it is to reconnect you with your higher self and reconnect you with source energy, because I feel like you're an ideas generator. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if you helped people rebuild businesses, or if you helped people rebuild success in their lives, rebuild themselves, right? Like, something along those lines. You could be a builder, right? That would make sense too. You could be in fashion. You could be in interior design. You could be in just have your own creative hobby on the side. Whatever it is, it's like your ideas that you generate are meant to help ease life for other people. Whether that's some sort of service that you offer or some sort of creation that you make that you give to others or sell to others. Could be as easy as baking cookies and cakes for others, and that helps them in a way because you're giving love, right? That's giving love. That's giving a piece of yourself. And I also feel like with exhaustion here, Source is just saying, like, take care of yourself as well, because sometimes it might feel very easy, all this very fiery, passionate energy, go, 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 and you may forget to take care of yourself. You may forget that, oh my gosh, like, I have to draw back and rest because you're so used to just being on the go. And it's interesting because the one that's the fire card in this reading is the 9 of Wands, right? Sagittarius energy here. But it's the one that's depicting just sheer burnout. And I feel like that's something that's very easy for you. And so being able to draw back, it doesn't mean that you're ever going to lose this or lose this ability to burn away what's no longer serving you. These are inherent to your soul. This is inherent to your journey at this time. But that it's vital for you to recharge, because when you're feeling at your best, that's when you generate the best ideas for yourself and for others. Let's get some oracles on it and see what comes through here for you. Source, what are pile number 1 secret talents and gifts? Okay, I feel like one more of these wants to come through. What are their secret talents and gifts? Yeah, Saturn. Oh my gosh. If you did not catch the collective energy, it's time-stamped in the description box. Check it out. But Saturn came out on the bottom of the deck, of the alchemy deck as well. So I love that, and that often happens with pile 1. Pile 1 always feels like an extension right off of the collective energy sometimes. Like, not always, I say sometimes. But we have feel restricted, experiencing struggle, learn hard work, and patience. Like, you had to go through it in order to free yourself. This is something where Source is saying, like, you had this ability to transmute all the hard things, right? To walk through the flames. That's not an easy task. And it's interesting, and this is not to make it religious at all, but I keep hearing, what is it, Radshak, Meshach, and Abednego? Like, that story, maybe you have an affinity for that story, or that's has an important meaning to someone here. Very specific message. It was just kept coming through, and I need to say it so that I can move on from it. And so that's just something. It's not to be religious, and maybe you are, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm just saying, like, this is just coming up here, okay? And that's what I keep hearing. But I feel like with this energy, that was something that was incredibly hard for you to embody when you first started this journey, was trusting and having faith that it was going to work out. And through all of that, it's been a struggle. Like, things didn't turn out exactly as you wanted them to, and things didn't come through exactly in the way that you thought that they would. But above all that, you've learned that through the struggle that you have changed. Through the struggles, you have become something different. Not necessarily better, but different, more aligned. And that has brought through a lot of clarity for you. And I feel like you're someone who transmutes hard lessons now really easily, right? That as soon as a trigger happens, you're able to transmute it on the spot. And it wasn't always like that. You might have been someone who was very much taken out by triggers or would avoid triggers at all costs. And now you're seeing the benefit of those triggers. And maybe they're less and less now, and you're like missing those triggers. Oh my gosh, I miss the triggers, because that's the healing, and you see the healing, right? The transformation. That's the part of the process. It's starting to even out, right? It was that very crazy at the beginning, and now it's starting to even out. So on the bottom, yeah, the sun with self-express and embody the truth. You're becoming very aligned with your higher self. Your soul is shining through. The light is very clear within you. And while this doesn't seem like a gift or a talent, it actually really is. To be able to express your truth is a huge talent in this life. When we're told that we have to be someone we're not. And yet here you are expressing yourself as you're meant to. The you that was always meant to come through. So we have relationships, yeah. I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So this is also part of it, is that you're impacting people on a deep level and connecting more with people who are meant to be with you on this journey. Failure, this goes with that Saturn energy. I understand that a mistake is an opportunity to learn. Thank you so much for clarifying that, source, because that's exactly what I was feeling with the Saturn energy. Before it was something very difficult. Before it was something very hard to experience. But now it's something that holds power and meaning to you when the trigger happens. Wow, I love these two coming out. We have innocence with childhood and shape-shifting with clouds. This is like Aquarian energy to me, but this is that shift, right? That change. You're changing your dynamic. You're changing your energy. You're changing who you are. You're becoming a more aligned version of yourself. You're going back to a time when you were a free spirit, before there was the burden of life. And that is something that is inspiring others. You're shedding a light, right? You're the sun in this card. You're not necessarily the child in this card. You are the sun that's shining the light on other people's inner child, on other people's light inside, and sparking them, right? Because you walked through the flames, you're now a spark for others, and you're helping to inspire shape-shifting and change within others. Right? But you've not forgotten who you are, and you've not forgotten where you've come from. And this is a very powerful talent to have indeed. Look at this. We have Cave, Sanctuary again, pointing towards it is vital for you to take moments of self-care where you disconnect from everything and everyone and reconnect with yourself. That's nurturing for you, and it is so healing for your spirit, because you do get to burn out really easily. Okay, let's see if we can get a little bit more here. What is pile number one's secret, hidden, or secret? What is pile number one's hidden talents and gifts? Yeah, Baba Yaga, you're very patient. You have the patience of a saint, I heard. I just heard that coming in. It's you are someone who can take so much, and you're not going to fly off the rocker about it. You know, you don't take things very personally, but I do feel like at one point, while you might have been a patient person your whole life, I do feel like there was always a point of where, okay, this is my breaking point. And now there is no breaking point. Instead, there's a boundary point, and that's what's happening now. And you're teaching other people how to treat you in a very beautiful way. And it is commanding respect from other people. But I can't get beyond this energy of you inspiring others. You give, like, you see how she has this little berry? You give these little gems of wisdom that people mull around on for a while, and suddenly their whole lives change. And for you, it might not be giving a lot. For you, it might just be, oh, this is just a daily thing for me. But to others, it's their whole world shifting. So you're a transmuter of energy. You help people transmute old energy out. Okay, this fell out as I picked it up. Ascendant. take things at face value. Yeah, and this is you. You're so authentic that people can take you at face value now, right? Like, they don't have to try to guess, because what they see is what they get. All right, so Source, what are pile number one's hidden gifts and talent? I really feel like you have such a unique connection with the divine realm. I feel like, and it's odd because I'm getting a sense of like a red auric, like a color red around your auric field. Very grounding, very clear, very free. We have Amum Koli, make peace with the past. Yeah, and again, healing the inner child. Excuse me, I need a drink of water. Healing the inner child, but making peace with the past. That's that Saturn energy, right? The planet of tough love. You've gone through the tough love and learned the valuable lessons. The 8th house, except that it's complicated. Yeah, a lot of shadow. You are a shadow master. That's what's coming in here. You live in the shadow realm, but with your light. You live with your light. It's not about being consumed by the darkness. You're allowing the darkness to be so that you can shed the light there and see what's being hidden from you. Void of course moon. Ask again later. And sometimes not always do you have the answer. Sometimes you have to go back multiple times. That's an interesting energy, but I love it. I love it. I feel like you force people, like I said, it sounds very brutal and unkind, but really, you do. It's like your energy forces people to deal with their darkness, to deal with their inner demons, sadness. And no one knows just quite how dark your past is. Why? Because you've shed the light on it. And for you, you've accepted it as a part of you. Not who you are, but as it's something you have to integrate into your being. And you've done that. And a lot of people, they just assume that you had it easy. And I feel like if you tell your story, or if you have told your story, it leaves people surprised because they just don't recognize, like, you have a lot of grief and sadness in your past. A lot of storm clouds, a lot of storms, a lot of hurricanes, a lot of tornadoes, a lot of disasters that came maybe back to back. There was no end to it. And you've learned how to transmute that energy to something more positive. Rather than living in the darkness, being controlled by the darkness, you live in the darkness by being the light within the darkness. Yeah, going with the flow now. And that's how I was saying, like, you transmute energy right away. You go with the flow. All right, let's see what we've got here. Mercury, think, learn, network, and communicate. So you could already be sharing your story, or that might be something that's on your heart to share your story, whether that's in written form, verbal form, musical form, poetic form, whatever it is, right? Like, there's some form that you would like to share it in, and that is the green light for Source that, yes, you should be sharing your story, you should be sharing things about yourself. That's okay. We're going to help you. That's going to help you build a solid network with people, but I feel like maybe you're already doing that. And people are being shifted and changed by the way that you think. And the way that you learn is inspiring them to see things in a different way. Wow. We have the Thoth energy here with divine masculine. So you're either a divine masculine, okay, or with all this fiery energy, you have learned to master the divine masculine. I feel like regardless if you're masculine or not, like, that's the truth. You've mastered the divine masculine. You've released the toxic masculinity that has ensued in our culture, and now you're coming into this very powerful, aligned divine masculine energy, which is good for you. It's the energy you're meant to be in at this time. Okay, let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. Wow! I can't. We've got Mars energy coming in as the alchemy here. Oh, transmutation through fire. Fire. You do not get more fiery than Mars. Like, Mars is the planet of war, okay? Like, it is, woof. It's a rough place, but that's of course connected to the divine masculine, right? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Like, that's a saying. So we have will, vigor, and activism. It says Mars may express itself through nightmares or distraught dreams. Make sure to utilize creativity when this planet is at work. Draw and dream journal. Draw a dream journal as much as possible. Okay. And it says the metal of Mars is iron. To rule with an iron fist. And look at the fist on here. Oh my gosh. Illustrates their pairing. Okay, Iron Fist didn't come out, but it says if these two cards appear together, you may be doing just that. And I feel like you can absolutely do that. It says with Mars by our side, we can assert ourselves in the world. Our presence is felt and our voice is heard like a flame. Didn't I say you guys spark the flame in others? What? Oh my gosh, I love this. Mars rises upward and helps us stand strong for what we believe in. Social justice movements are great examples of Mars's energy. And didn't I say maybe you're involved in government? And that would make so much sense, like activism or, doing, what is it? I heard rioting, but that's not the right word. Protesting. Thank you. Someone said it. Thank you so much. Let's see. It says, with clarity of purpose, Mars leads us to peaceful change, the upholding of human rights, and representing the unprecedented. When Mars appears in a reading, there is strength and vigor required to face the challenges ahead. It may take the form of speaking your truth, getting yourself out of harmful relationships or jobs, or getting involved in activist work. As alchemists, we must be very precise with our dosage of Mars. As in uncontrolled amounts, it leads to outbursts and violence. Mars is the most potent when paired with Ashima, non-violence, and that's a yogic practice. It's one of the 8 limbs of yoga, Ashima. It's non-violence. You can check it out. It's right there on the last line if you want to know how it's spelled. It says to go deeper, study the history of peaceful protest. I didn't even know it said that in here, and I couldn't think of the word. Oh my goodness. We have to ponder fighting without fighting. What? I love that. That's what I'm saying. Like, you help others. You lead in such a way that others are inspired to learn from you. But the thing is, there's so much Mars energy. Like, if you could crush someone. And people might not realize that about you, but it's not something, it's not like your first train of thought. You're always wondering, how can I lead from this peaceful, strong, empowered place? And that's what makes you stand out. That's what makes you different. But if you ever had to, and I hope you remember this too, is that you could absolutely crush people if you ever had to. I just don't think that it ever gets to that point, because you are always taking care of it from this place of love and this place of kindness and compassion. And again, healing the toxic masculine has brought you into an empowered divine masculine state. Regardless if you're identify as a masculine or feminine, that doesn't matter, right? This is just the energy that you're embodying right now. I love this reading. It's so synchronistic. So if you feel like this is your reading, leave the little fire emoji down below and say, I transmute people's energy through the flames, the darkness, and the despair by bringing in the light and sparking the flame. And if it resonated with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member here on the channel. And with that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very, very powerful message. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the 2nd house on it, or if you were drawn to this white feather, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on what are your hidden gifts and talents. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And for anybody new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And if you are truly new here, we do things completely differently on this channel. So I suggest strapping in, hanging on, and you and I are going to find out together. And should the messages happen to resonate along the way, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. With that, let's hop to it and find out. Source, what are pile number 2's hidden gifts and talents? Source, what are pile number 2's hidden gifts and talents? What would you like them to know? What are pile number 2's hidden gifts and talents? Okay, so first thing, before we get into it, I'm hearing that you're a healer. And I'm also seeing the number 422 like as a number that might follow you around. It could either just be 4s or it could be 2s, but I am hearing specifically 422. Like that's a very powerful number in your life. Maybe you were born on April 22nd. So what is that? Aries, Leo... or I'm sorry, that's Aries, Taurus cusp, I believe. And that could be your birthday. And no, that's a very specific message. Or maybe you are always seeing 422 on the clock, or that angel number follows you. But if you feel like if you feel called to, I would recommend checking that out, and that might bring even deeper meaning to this reading for you today, pile number 2. Wow, we got 4. We've got Taurus, which is ruled by the second house. Oh my goodness. And your pile number 2. You picked the second house. And we have Pluto. Interesting. What did I say? You're a healer. And we've got the 4th house here. Yes. You help heal others through nurturing and compassion. You bring deep healing to the inner child as well as the inner mother. Right? Teaching people how to love themselves again. Teaching people how to transform through that love and self-worth. So you could be a life coach. You could be a health coach. You could be a nutritionist. You could be an essential oils. I don't know what they call them, but where you distribute essential oils, or you make essential oil concoctions and sell them to people. I know these are very specific coming in, but that's what some of the energy is. Or you could be working in the health industry. Oh, like a nurse or a doctor, or it could be anything in the health industry. It doesn't have to be specific. It could be mental health, physical health, emotional health, any and everything in that. Or that's what you would like to do. Okay, so we see here that you are very much learning how to be foundational in embracing your self-worth and in embracing the luxury of life through gratitude and presence, and teaching others how to do that. And this is your hidden, I feel like this is your hidden gift. This is your talent. Your gift has been to really delve into healing, and your talent is to be able to partner that with self-care and self-worth, and through the power of transformative energy and finding the darkness, right? Digging into the subconscious. You could do Reiki work as well. Massage therapy is coming out. Okay, so they're still over here. They're trying to give like different options here, but you get the picture, right? So 4:44 on the clock as we're talking about this, and 4:42 came up as well. So this is that energy of really, you're someone who helps others heal on a deep subconscious level. They might not recognize or realize that they're being healed, but you help them rebuild foundations after dealing with karmic losses or karmic grief. Things that they've had to let go of, the burdens of having to let go of that. And then finding evolution from that. And dealing with the fears and dealing with anything that has been upended in life. So you maybe helping people deal with grief in a very unique way, or deal with loss in a very unique way, right? But your gift is healing. That's your healing. You're a very healing person. I got that. That was so powerful, coming through, such a strong energy already at the very beginning of this healing. And yeah, it feels like the talent is to be able to partner that with self-care and self-love, self-worth, being able to see one's worth, one who might not feel like they have any worth, and helping them find that again. Wow. And even if you're not doing that actively, it's just something that naturally comes to you, okay? Because when they're hidden, you know, everybody's like, oh, well, it's hidden, we're not accessing it. It's oftentimes when it's hidden, it means that we're not necessarily consciously aware of it, but it can absolutely be so ingrained in our spirit that we're still doing it. But we might not be consciously aware of it, or not think twice about it. Yeah, I remember when I was younger, I used to have channeled messages all the time, and I would be talking to people. Before I was consciously aware of being a psychic medium, I was talking to people, and I would give them a channeled message. And I can't tell you how many times people are like, say that again, I want to write that down. And I was like, what did I say? And they're like, I don't know, I want you to say it again so I can write it down. I'm like, I really don't know what I just told you. Like, I don't even know the words I used. I couldn't even tell you 3 of the words I used. I don't know what I said, because I was channeling, and it was a message for them. It was for them to grasp onto. And they would get so mad at me. Like, how do you not know what you just said? I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what I just said. Like, it was like, as soon as it happened, it was gone, and I was off on the other thing. And so it means in that moment, I wasn't physically present here. It was that source had taken me over as channel in that moment, and I became the oracle. And that's why. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I was unconscious to my gift, but my gift was still present. And I feel like that's maybe where some of you are at. It's a subconscious thing that's happening, right? You're unconscious to it, but it's still happening. You're still connecting with it, even if you don't realize it. So what is pile number 2's? Yeah, I'm not surprised this came out. I kept seeing this card for your pile, and I'm sad I didn't mention it, but that's all right. I kept seeing this. The Thunderbolt, or what you might know as the Tower, or in the Tarot Marseille, what we call the House of God. This is where things get sticky, right? You help people deal with complete upheavals in their lives. You could also be a real estate agent. Came in so strong right now. Real estate agent, like you're there for them to start the next chapter of their life, or helping them find balance in starting the next chapter of their life. And that's very healing for them. You provide a sense of stability for them. That foundational energy is so necessary for them. We have the 5 of Coins, the Outsider, big changes, awareness with the Chariot, and on the bottom we've got clinging to the past. Yeah. So you help heal the soul that's at unrest within other people. You help bring it to ease. You help bring it to peace. And you're helping people. If you notice with the 5 of Coins card, you know, we talk about this a lot when it comes up, is that the lock is actually unlocked. And this little boy, this little girl, this child here, right, doesn't realize it's unlocked and is feeling like, I'm stuck, I'm an outsider, I'll never be able to go inside, because inside is where I want to go. And you're helping people realize that they're the only ones keeping themselves in the cage. They're the only ones that are keeping themselves from healing. They're the only ones that are keeping themselves from seeing their worth and their value, right? Again, coming back to that self-worth and that value here. It's this energy of purifying the soul, which is so funny that you picked the white feather too, right? Finding that purity, that the peace and purity that comes from that. And having success with that as well. You must have gone through something very difficult yourself that triggered this healing process. It's interesting, this is a very specific story coming through, this is a very specific story coming through where it's maybe you dealt with emotional or mental abuse. It could have been physical abuse, but there's abuse or betrayal. Really, they're focusing on abuse here, but it could have been a betrayal as well. But really, there's abuse coming in, and you could have dealt with that, and you could have felt trapped in a situation. So say if that was a spouse feeling like, well, I'm trapped in this marriage, I don't have anywhere to go. What am I going to do? How am I going to start over? And I feel like, and if it's not that, it's something that is as extreme as that you went through. It could have been betrayal of a friend. It could have been, feeling trapped in you with your parents. It could have been trapped at home. It could have been anything, or a job, a situation, right? And something really, really big happened in your life. And there was this massive shifting point for you, and that actually helped you to tap in even deeper into your healing abilities. And you allow people to have the choice. Like, you get the choice to heal or not. I'm not ever going to force someone to heal, but I am going to give you the choice. And your hidden gift and talent is all about you allowing people this choice to come back to their inner divinity by letting go of the chaos that the past has created. Feeling like I'm stuck in this chaotic box. My mind, right? Stuck in the mind where I'm unable to let go, or I'm unable to free myself from expectations of others, or the thoughts that others have of me, or the feelings that others might be projecting at me. And you give them that foundation. I do feel like you had completed this process yourself. You had to let go of what other people might be thinking about you, right? Because we never truly know what another person is thinking. We can suspect all that we want, and maybe their actions will point to that as well, but ultimately, at the end of the day, we don't know the exact verbiage that's going on in someone else's mind. We only know what's going on in our minds, and it's easy for us to believe that we know what other people are thinking of us, when in reality, if we're thinking someone else is thinking this of us, how many times can we say thinking in a sentence? We're really thinking that about ourselves. And so you're teaching that to others, and you're teaching them to let that go and to free themselves from that. What feels very difficult. Oh, you could be a divorce counselor. Okay. That just came in. That came flying in, like so, phew, crazy. Okay. So there's this energy where it's like you're helping people deal with something that is a massive hit to their life. Something that reminds them of their childhood. Something that reminds them of the wounded child, and then becoming aware of maybe how those are connected, right? Clinging to the past. But overall, this is the energy of healing. You're helping others heal in a very big way. You're bringing a very positive vibration and a very big light to the world by doing this. And your vibration, it's not even your light. Your light is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning, but it's actually your vibration that affects people, because you're so calm and you're so at peace with who you are and where you're at on your journey, that others are naturally drawn to you, and they also want to experience that. And so they're ready and willing to listen to what it is that you have to say. I feel like people who come into your energy are people who are ready to make a change. And while there might be people who aren't ready to receive those seeds of wisdom or that healing that you're giving, you still aren't bothered by them. Like, they're going to come and they're going to go, or they're going to stay and they're going to try and cause problems, but you're unattached to the outcome with them. And that's what makes them move on, because they're trying to elicit a response or reaction from you, and they don't get what they're looking for, and so they move on to the next person who will. And your focus has always been about bringing this beautiful, loving, nurturing energy to the world. Like, at your core, you're a nurturer. Wouldn't surprise me if being a parent was like number one priority to be when you're an adult, when you became an adult. Like, I want to be a parent. I want to have kids in my life. Like, that could be something that you really, really desire. And maybe not. Maybe you don't. But You know, maybe you want to be a pet parent. I know they're really different things, but it's about having someone or a being in your life that you can love and take care of and nurture and nourish. And that's a sense of fulfillment for you. It's a very powerful fulfillment for you too. Maybe you haven't really become aware of it just yet either, right? We have the awareness card here. So for some, you're absolutely aware of this. For others, I feel like you've suspected it for some time, and this might very well be a confirmation for you, but you are a healer. Yeah, like we have Capricorn. We have ambition, realism, and methodical steps. You had to take your own journey step by step. There was no pushing it through. It was all in good time. I heard all in good time and all in good fun, but I don't think it was very fun, right? I feel like it was one of those things like you had to deal with a lot of hardships from the past, and you had to free your own mind. And through the step-by-step program that you followed for yourself, whether that was you buying into a program or you creating your own program, right? And I call it a program because it's just something you show up and do, sort of a ritual for you. By following that, it has created segue to who you are now. And you're able to teach that to others. You're able to instill that into others. Wow, we have Jupiter, excuse me, I yawned. We have Jupiter grow and expand. A yawn of confirmation. Yeah, you are someone who is constantly expanding, and you're bringing that expansion to others. So it's not just you expanding for yourself, but that expansion is naturally influencing others around you as well. Wow. Whoa. All right, what else, Source? Grief, yeah. I'm not surprised this came out. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. Did I not say you help others deal with grief? I think I said that at the beginning. If not, I was talking about how you help them deal with great loss. Right? So you help them deal with this great loss. You're also bringing sacral chakra healing to the world, which is where our emotions are sitting, and being able to help others connect with their emotional well-being. I feel like you need another one of these cards for some reason. Yeah. So you got two more. On the bottom, doubt. Interesting. I release the need to know all the answers. I feel like you doubted your abilities, or you have doubted your abilities for a long time, or compared yourself to others, and that's the part of you that you're healing right now. You're letting that go. But when you're comparing yourself to others, it doesn't allow your light to shine through. Other people have doubted you, but that doesn't mean you should doubt yourself. Right? If you don't believe in you, who will? And sometimes that's very hard for us to believe in ourselves when we've experienced so much doubt in our lives. But understanding that if this is what you're called to, or this is what you're drawn to, there's a reason for that. And can you observe what that means for you, right? Maybe not even dig into it. You don't even need to dig in deeper, but more just observing what this means to you and how it's impacting you, and being able to help people in this way. Yeah, the wake-up call. This is the emotional tsunami. The emotional crushing weight of the grief, of the hurt, of the pain, of the past, of the things that we've gone through, whether that is, passive aggressive people in our lives, or, people who have some sort of disconnect from reality, or people who are like narcissistic or psychotic or anything like that. It's like there's just this crushing weight that has happened, and having to deal with that was the wake-up call. Not feeling like you had the opportunity to leave, and then one day realizing, I have the freedom to leave. I don't have to stay here. Yeah, look, we have winter solstice with reflection underneath that. You had to reflect on what really was true and what was an illusion. And that is sometimes really hard for us, because the illusion is so much easier to believe than reality. Wow, you're getting 3 of these. Okay. On the bottom, the end of the cycle with hell. And she's the daughter of Loki, right, in Norse mythology. And it's just very interesting because it's like seeing the underworld, right? The ability to tap into the underworld, or the end of a cycle. We think about this grief. So there's someone that you lost, or you've had to deal with losing a lot of people, or you've just had to deal with overwhelming grief in your life. But the grief that you've experienced, Pile 2, has been the catalyst for awakening you up to an even deeper sense of your healing abilities. And while that might not be reassuring, which I completely understand, because grief is one of the hardest emotions that we'll ever have to deal with in this life. But knowing that it had this greater purpose of opening you up to the ability to heal others in this way is very profound. We have air. Take a bird's eye view. Yeah, seeing things from a higher perspective. And benefics with let blessings unfold. And I feel like you're helping others in a beautiful way that's actually a huge blessing to your life. Again, that fulfillment that I'm getting when you're doing something like this, or you're helping to heal others, whatever that means to you, right? Healing is a vast topic, and it can mean so many different things. And if you're called to the healing industry, and that's something that you really feel in your heart of hearts that this is what I want to be doing, just knowing that that's going to be something that brings a lot of blessings to you because it matters to you, and that's very powerful. And on the bottom we have third house. Take a good look around. Yeah, are you listening to what you want? Are you listening to what you desire? This is an interesting energy to come through, right? How are you communicating this to yourself? Because I feel like that's impactful. How you communicate. Are you communicating this doubt? Or are you realizing that you have a right to exist as you are in this moment, that you have something that no one else has, and that's your unique view, your unique way. And that is enough as it is. And I feel like you just need that reminder. We have caution. Yeah, so there's a lot. This is interesting because there's like a lot of fear that's around this situation as well. Around your gift, maybe like you have you're able to heal people's energy, or maybe it's I keep hearing frou-frou. It's too frou-frou for me. Maybe, but it's like you keep getting called to it, and just knowing that if you're getting called to it, it matters. It's worth investigating. That's what they're saying. And that when you let go of the doubt of it having to look a certain way because that's what everyone expects it to look like, then you get to open up to what it really is. And I feel like that's you also freeing yourself from burdens of the past. Yeah, with abundance on the bottom. Wow, it's a very abundant place for you. I feel like the abundance that you're receiving, and it could be monetary gain, but I feel like honestly, Pile 2, the abundance that you're going to be receiving when you're pouring into your gift of healing is the abundance of feeling fulfilled. And there is no greater abundance than that. And I know people are like, oh, well, what about money? And what about this? But honestly, to be fulfilled is such a powerful a powerful state to be in, especially in this realm at this time. We have Aquarius energy, yeah. Setting the trend here, right? Originality, philanthropy, and progressive imaginings. And then we also have that energy of sudden progression with Aquarius. Like it can suddenly take off in the blink of an eye. And I feel like that's that energy that Source is saying for those of you that have been questioning whether or not this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is that green light. Happiness. I can't make this up. I'm aware that being happy means I'm on the right path. Okay? Because I'm happy. Who's that? Pharrell Williams? Yeah, when you're happy, that's when you're at your highest vibration. That's when things are manifesting for you. That's when things are coming together for you. And we know we can't stay in a state of happiness all the time. Like, that's physically impossible. But if something is bringing you happiness, then that's a beautiful indication that it's meant for you. And I feel like healing is in that path, or bringing self-worth to others, teaching others something that you've learned about yourself. I cannot. Okay, so you could be psychic medium. This is coming out with a lot of grief here coming through as well, and death and caution coming through. This could be what scares you, is that you're a psychic medium and it's too spiritual. And that sounds weird, right? But it's just too unknown. And that's scary. It says, I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. Okay. So there's this energy where it's like you're going to be really fulfilled when you start pouring into this. But this is something that's hidden, right? But it's healing, and it is healing for others. You're helping others heal from their grief. You're helping others heal from that heartbreak. Dreamtime creation. It is what you choose to make it. You don't have to put a box around it. You can let it be whatever it is, you know. Just because you don't see spirits or you don't hear spirits the same way as another person, or you don't, you know, like they impress upon you in different ways. I feel like that's the problem, is that we're always expecting it to be like what the movies show us, or we're always expecting it to be the same way as like what TV shows are showing us, and it's not. That's not what it is. It's very personal to each person. Our abilities, our psychic gifts, our psychic mediumship, if that's what you have, you know, they're very personal to each person. It's not necessarily hearing disembodied voices, which you can hear disembodied voices. It's not always necessarily seeing the spirit with your physical eyes, you know, but you can see the spirit with your physical eye. Like, there's so many different avenues, and we are like, oh, but it's not like so-and-so's on YouTube, or it's not like so-and-so on TV, because you're not meant to be like that. And so you could very well be a psychic medium, but also having to do with healing here. Wow. Oh my gosh, we have Kuan Yin with kindness and nurturing. Part of your secret or your hidden gift and talent is to nurture the world, to nurture people around you, to bring kindness, that very motherly, loving energy. I love this. And sweet success with Oshun. Yes, you're meant to be successful as well. And you're just a very powerful energy. Like, that's why, didn't I say it's not your light, it's your vibration. While your light is incredibly bright, it's literally your physical vibration. It hits people and they're forever transformed by you. Look at that. We have Mary Magdalene, sacred marriage. Okay. Out of this deck, this is the gods, goddesses, and what's the other one? Gods, goddesses, and hold on, I got it here. And guardians. Okay, the gods, goddesses, and guardians. And you got all three goddesses here, except Mary Magdalene, I believe, is a guardian. But I believe Oshun is a goddess. She's a goddess of the Yoruba. And then you have Kuan Yin as a goddess, and Hel is a goddess as well. So you've got all feminine energy here, which is absolutely different from pile number one. This is a very receptive energy, so receiving your gift is very important at this time. Look, even that, we have Aditi with expand your consciousness, and under her Isis with sacred contracts. Then we finally get a masculine energy with King Neptune and sensitivity. Yeah, you're incredibly sensitive, like cosmic knowledge. You're incredibly sensitive to the spiritual world. Very, very sensitive to this beautiful energy that's coming in with sacred marriage. Like, this is that union of you and the divine, and trusting that. But you do it in such a unique, nurturing way. That's what brings healing to others. So we're going to take a look at this card and see what it says from the book. We have mortification. When I turned it over, I saw mortified. And that's what I feel like maybe you're dealing with. You're mortified of your gift. Or, you know, it's easy to be scared. Especially being a psychic medium. Like, it's very easy to be scared of. And I know people are like, oh, that's the coolest thing in the world. But no, it can be very frightening. Because you're not knowing what's going to happen. What about evil spirits? Like, there's all these questions that come up with it. And I feel like that's that thing. I cannot. I'll tell you what it said in a minute. But that's that thing that scares a lot of people. And so, but for having fulfillment there, that's something to consider. It says decay, death, and decomposition. So, again, with death. Okay, there. Wow. We have Halloween. Halloween is the night where the veil is the thinnest, and also the Day of the Dead, which happens a few days later, or Dia de los Muertos, right? So there's this energy where it's like being able to see beyond the veil. Okay, this is your hidden gift. It says Halloween is a global celebration of mortificatio and the underworld, and you got hell. Oh my gosh. If this card has got you down, flip the script. There is freedom and expression in every opportunity. It says the Mortifactio card relates to the death card in the tarot and the underworld card in the archetypes. It is a universal symbol not to be taken personally. Didn't I say that with hell, like connecting with the underworld in the spiritual realm? It says Mortifactio is the great alchemical operation of darkness. What once was composed now decomposes. What once was presentable is now despicable. The stage cannot be avoided. The underworld has taken us into the dark interior of its belly, and here we reside until spring. Through the natural process of decay, we descend into the depths we didn't know existed. The alchemist soon finds Mortifactio as a stage of regeneration and sacred power where the soil is fertile and rich, offering nourishment for tomorrow. This stage cannot be rushed. The darkness must have time to do its work, to dismantle and to loosen, to free us from old scripts and stories. As we learn to surrender to this great operation, the earth churns and wisdom whispers in the dark. She envelopes us with grace and the promise of what's to come. To go deeper, read the Egyptian story of Osiris and to ponder, is there anything that does not end? Wow, this is so powerful. And that's just that seeing the eye at the center of this card, right? The darkness that comes from that. I feel like that's something that might be frightening you, pile 2, is this fear of like, if I am a psychic medium, what about the unknowns? What about the things everybody tells me, oh, it's a sin to be a psychic medium. Oh, you're going to be nothing but attacked by evil spirits, or oh my gosh, all these bad things are going to happen to you. And remembering that people's fear and lack of knowledge of being a psychic medium is not the reality of it. And it's okay before you delve into practicing it to research what you feel resonates with you, okay? Like, don't just jump at the first thing. Definitely research it. You know, when I found out about it and I went in head first, I actually had to come back, and I connected with my mother who'd passed on, and my mom became my guide for my psychic medium powers. And that's the thing. It's like finding someone who's passed over, that's on your family, that's part of your lineage. They'll absolutely be there to connect with you. You can check out Rebecca Rosen. She's a great resource. I can't remember the other lady right now. Oh my goodness. I've talked about so many different books on here, and I don't have... Well, you can check it out. Just if you go online and look up some different books that you can read, or find different videos on YouTube, there's different people. But make sure you can feel it. Like, your guides will definitely impress upon you if that's somebody you should or should not listen to, and trust that, okay? First, you have to trust yourself. So I feel like right now it's just hidden. But you could also be someone that helps others with the passing process. And I'm getting death doula coming through as well. So with that energy, just reminding yourself that the more we fear something, the more it keeps us in the illusion of. And Source is the power of unconditional love. And Source never sent us here to suffer. We suffer because of the contrast of the world, not because of Source. The contrast of the world is what people believe is the reality, but it's the contrast in and of itself that's the greatest illusion. And so when we look beyond that, we're able to see the love. We're able to see the light. And I feel like with you, pile number 2, just opening up to your truth, but realizing that that's very healing for you. And even if you don't want to be a full-blown out psychic medium, that's okay. It doesn't mean that you can't help people deal with, you know, death, or deal with the grieving process, or heal people, because I feel like the number one thing here is that you're a healer. And the number 2 thing is that you're a psychic medium. Okay? Like, that's what this really feels like. And I feel like for you, it's really important for you to bring a sense of self-worth, self-care, and self-love back to the collective. And that's a very powerful thing to have. Okay? But with this mortification card, it's like not being mortified or scared or worried about the what ifs, right? Sometimes the darkness is actually the most beautiful thing that we can embrace. And remembering that while it looks scary, is it really scary? Or is it something that will help me grow? And only you can answer that for you, right? So this is what I see here for you. This is an incredibly powerful reading, and I'm gonna even take it a step further. I'm gonna say, if this feels like you're reading, leave the little crossbone and skulls emoji down below and say, I open up to the truth beyond the illusion and let go of my fear and trust in the power of sources or spirits or God's unconditional love. Okay? And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member here on the channel. And with that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this incredibly powerful message. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the first house on it, or if you were drawn to this duck feather, or if you're drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on what are your hidden gifts and talents. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And for anybody new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. If you are truly new here, we do things completely differently on this channel, so I just suggest strapping in, hanging on, and you and I are going to find out together. Should anything happen to resonate with you on the way, it would truly mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. So with that, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out. Source for pile number 3, what are their hidden gifts and talents? What would you like to share with us today, Source? What are pile number 3's hidden gifts and talents? Source, what are pile number 3's hidden gifts and talents? Wow, we've got Neptune wanting to be shown here. Interesting. So, yeah, getting beyond the illusion. Maybe the illusion of hiding? How does that translate to a talent or a gift? Letting yourself be seen, letting your light be seen. This is your hidden gift, is your light. Your hidden gift is your light. If it's hidden, or if you're believing in the illusions, then it is not you being true and authentic to yourself. And of course, that's something we're learning every day, right, as we journey on this path. But let's see what else came through. So, we've got the 10th house, and we've got Sagittarius energy. Yeah, your hidden gift and talent. Okay, I feel like your hidden gift or talent is to help others see that there is no quick fix to life. Right? There's no magic pill. I'm sorry. There's no red or blue pill to take here, right? There is hard work and discipline and showing up and doing the work. And you letting your light be seen is product of that, because you getting to where you are has been because of consistency, because of being persistent, because of showing up on the journey. But there's an illusion that's going around where everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna, it's like the people who would pan for gold. It was like getting rich quick. We had them when I was growing up. There were Ponzi or pyramid schemes or get rich quick scams and stuff like that, and it's like people really buy into that so much. It's like, even with manifestation, you're seeing it now, like manifest $1 million in 24 hours, and people are wondering why it's not working for them. And you're showing people your talent, which is consistency. And that might seem silly, it might not seem like a big deal, but in this day and age, it's a huge deal. Name 5 people right now who you know who are as consistent as you. That you know personally, not like people you see online and stuff, but that you know personally. If you can't name 5 people, then that's how you know this is not something that's common. And that makes it a talent. That makes it special. It's not that people aren't capable of doing it. It's just that people don't show up to do it because it takes effort. Everybody wants things to fall into their laps very easily, and I feel like you're showing people that that is not the case. But I feel like you're also teaching people that discipline doesn't have to be something that we look at with a bad connotation anymore. That we can see it as something that is viable and valuable for our journey, but we're the only ones who can show up for that. I feel like you're sharing this very deep wisdom as well. Wisdom that seems so blatantly commonsensical to you, right? Like, duh, that makes so much sense. And to other people, they're like, oh, I've never thought of it that way. And I feel like you're recognizing that people are... they're different, you're different, whatever it is, different. There's a difference, right? There's a difference in intelligence level. There's a difference in spiritual intelligence as well, and emotional intelligence. And there are levels to that in this realm, right? Not everybody is at the same emotional intelligence. Not everybody is at the same spiritual intelligence, right? And you're seeing that and learning that. And so one of your hidden gifts and talents is to be able to share that knowledge with others. And it really feels like it has to do with uncovering the illusion of discipline, uncovering the illusion of blame and shame and guilt and all these other things that are coming with that, but also uncovering the power of aligning oneself with their mission and their journey. And remembering that it's not really having to be something super specific, right? It's not like, oh, well, your mission is to go travel the world as a missionary and do all these different things. Now, if you're called to that, then that's when it becomes your mission, right? But if you're called to baking cupcakes and selling them at festivals around the world, then that's your mission, right? There's a reason for that. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And I feel like you're helping people understand that their purpose is whatever they deem it to be. And showing them that this illusion of it having to be something specific that was given to you, that you have to now surprisingly go through all this hard work to uncover, and even then you might not get to it, is just a lot of nonsense, right? So I feel like you're just a very old soul, and that is one of your hidden gifts and talents. And to you, it feels like common sense, but I remember someone told me once, common sense, it's not so common. And that stuck with me I still to this day, someone told me that when I was a teenager, and still to this day, I still think about that, and I'm like, that is a real thing. That right there, that is a real thing. Common sense, it's not so common. If it were, there would be more people who not necessarily would understand the things that you understand, but would see it the same way, or, it wouldn't be like an aha moment when you're bringing it to them. They're like, oh yeah, we already know that, right? But you're like the light bulb that turns on. You're the cha-ching, oh, aha, ah, right? Like that's you. You're the aha moment. But it's this deep wisdom. You're a student of life, but a teacher of many. Oh, that's a really cool way to put that. I love that. Thank you, Source. That was really cool. A student of life, but a teacher to many. Oh, I love that. Let's dig in deeper to this. So you might be, like, your hidden gift and talent might be to teach people. Remember, it doesn't have to be psychic powers. It doesn't have to be psychic gifts. Like, that doesn't have to be our gift. It could be drawing, it could be singing, it could be anything, but it feels like here there's like a sense of teaching people, teaching others the truth. Alright, Source, what are pile number 3's hidden gifts and talents? Yeah. Whoa! Beyond Illusion card flying out first thing. Absolutely confirming what I've been feeling. this whole time, seeing beyond the illusion, seeing beyond the things that people tell us we have to see, right? You're like, no, it's not really that way. And while it might make sense to you, other people are buying into the illusion, and the illusion becomes the reality. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. It's been a long week for me. Today is my Friday. Alright, Source. So, what is pile number 3's? Yep, inner voice. Okay, so you are psychic. You're very psychic. You're very intuitive. Your third eye is wide open, okay? And that teaches you a lot. But you're also a receptor, a receptacle of vital information from the spirit realm. And so, of course, it makes sense to you because you're hearing it all the time in your mind's eye. You're like, yeah, of course that makes sense. Of course it's like that. Of course this is how life is. But to others, you're someone who sees beyond and sees things in an entirely different way. Even though it may seem sophomoric, right? Like, you're like, it's so simple. How are you not getting this? And it's like, as soon as you say it, they're like, oh, wow. Now I see. But you're the sharer. You're the teacher. And you're constantly learning things. Yeah, 7 of coins with patience on the bottom. Yeah, I don't feel like you're judgmental of others. I just feel like, you know, that's just that, like, how do you not see this? You know, when people are just like, how did you not see that? Like, I just don't understand. You know how, like, I don't know, how a button works, right? Like, someone's buttoned their shirt 1,000 times and it's super easy. If you get someone a button shirt to a person who's never used a button before, it's not going to make sense to them. But as soon as you show them, they're like, oh. And you're sitting there thinking, you're like, okay, there's a hole on this side of the shirt, the button's on this side of the shirt. Like, how does that, like, just logically, it would go inside the hole. Like, that's the only way that makes sense. But if someone's never used a button-down shirt before or used a button in their life, it's not gonna make sense, right? And so that's what it is. It's like you were born with the awakened part of yourself already absorbing this information, already learning from some past life or some past part of yourself that was awakened to remember. But I feel like you're incredibly patient with people and you stand out, right? The 7 of coins in the Tarot Marseille talks about being unorthodox, being different. And you're standing out. Look, oh my gosh, I cannot make this up. Okay, I'm going to slide them over. I have all the dice the 2 sets of dice from the prior piles. I'm not going to shift them, but they're both on the 10th house. I just saw that. So I'm going to slide them over the 10th house and look, the 10th house. They're both just up like this, and see, they're upside down. I don't know if you can see them. I'm going to pick them up. But look, they're both upside down. Let's see if it'll focus on this one. See how it's upside down? And this one, it's upside down. I just looked over, and you got the 10th house. So we have 10, 10, 10 on all the dice. When I'm done, I put them over here, and I don't put them in any particular order. But isn't that funny? I just saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so being 10, 10 shows that you're on your path of purpose. And I feel like that's what you're helping others to see, is that there doesn't have to be any destined path of purpose. It's just choosing what you choose it to be. But you realize that from a past life, or you realize that from the wisdom that was awakened within you, and you chose your path based on that, what you knew you wanted to do, and you've gone towards that. Yeah, the burden. I feel like at times you have really believed that people expected you to carry them, and maybe they have. Okay, maybe they've absolutely put that on you to carry them to their path of purpose, or to carry them through, or maybe you had a hard time because you might have been a people pleaser, like where you had all this wisdom. There might be certain human aspects of your journey that were very much societal construct that were ingrained in you from an early age that was hard for you to break, you know, like people pleasing or being silent when you needed to speak up. These certain things that seem so logical, and you yourself have had to learn them. And I also feel like here, just seeing the burden, it's showing that you are burdened by the fact that a lot of people don't see life in this very no nonsensical way. You're a very straightforward person, and it's like, this makes sense, but this is your gift. Your gift is to be awakened, right? Like, you came awakened. You came here with knowledge that most people takes them a whole lifetime to gain access to. And that's why I feel like Source is just even with the 7 of Swords or 7 of Coins out, just a reminder that when you stay patient, you cultivate this place for people to absorb the knowledge you're giving them rather than forcing it on them, or in turn feeling like you have to carry them. And that's your gift, is just to be aware of things, the nuance, the subtleties in people's energies, the subtleties in energy around you, not necessarily people, but living things, or even just the air. Like, if you go to a place that's really busy, or, like here, they're showing me the example right now is I'm in an RV park. I live in RV parks from place to place. And sometimes when they get really full, the energy in here shifts so much. It just completely shifts, and you're like, oh, and I can tell how much it's affecting everyone around me, because you'll start to see many people who are, if everybody's happy and pleasant, they'll all be happy and pleasant. But sometimes there's times when it's just frustrating, like maybe they all got off to a bad start or whatever it was, but that energy shifts. And not even going outside, it's something I can feel, and I have to put wards around the RV to ward off that energy. It's not ours to take on, right? But that's the type of subtleties that you're noticing. It's, you don't even have to connect with people to feel that shift. You could walk into a room and literally feel the whole energy. And while the energy might shift in the room because you're there, you're very aware of that residual energy that's left from how it was before you entered into the room. And this to you might seem like a no-brainer, but it's the gift, because it's not a no-brainer. It's actually a very beautiful thing that you have, that you're able to tap into, to be able to connect with people, to be able to feel out situations, and also to stay connected to yourself. And I feel like with the 6 of Swords at the center of your reading here, it's just that reminder that you're not here to carry everyone else. That was never in the contract. Your contract was to just be the person who shares this, who shares the wisdom and moves on. Like, you're just a passing wanderer, especially with Sagittarius energy here. Like, you're the wanderer. Other people aren't here to be on your shoulders and take advantage of your gift, or take advantage of your ability to wander throughout your journey. But there have been times when that may have happened, and this may have felt more like a curse than a blessing or a gift, right? And what Source is saying here is that while the depth of you is simple, the shallow parts of you are complicated, and that's okay. That's all right. But remembering that you're mastering those shallow parts of you and trying to integrate those into the depths of who you are. And that's what's so vital. Yeah, look, the Source coming out with the Ace of Wands. I felt it too. It was felt like Source is like, you need to pick up that other card. So this is Source coming in and reminding you that this is a very powerful thing that you've been given. And it might be hidden. And I feel like it's hidden behind the emotional ego of arrogantly feeling like you have it all down, or like, and again, you're not arrogant. That's not what I'm saying, but it's like, the emotional ego can hold arrogance. And we're not arrogant people, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't hold arrogance, right? It's still a human emotion that we experience. And that's what it feels like. It's like your emotional ego is holding on to the arrogance of like, that's so simple. Why don't you get it? But then thinking back in your life when maybe something wasn't so simple for you to get, and looking at this in that same way will help you to integrate this gift on a much more profound level. And the thing that Source keeps bringing up is the burden card here, with maybe something that was very difficult for you to get was that it wasn't your job to carry others to success or to happiness or to emotional well-being. Angel, stop. Thank you. Angel. No. Sorry, she licks the bed. She gets obsessive with it, and I don't even think she realizes she's doing it. She's just licking and licking and licking and licking, and so, but this energy is Source is reminding you that if you go back and think about those times, or maybe people pleasing that you had, or maybe when you were feeling stuck in a situation and then you realized you weren't stuck in a situation, that helplessness that you had, if you can remember that, and remember that that's the same helplessness that a lot of people feel when it comes to the spiritual side of things, that will give you an even deeper meaning to the fact that this gift is truly a blessing for you. And, you know, it's going to be different for everybody, but I do feel like this is just that reminder. Your third eye is wide open, okay? And you have tapped into the collective energy in a way that not many people are aware of. Like, you're aware of when somebody's upset. You're aware of when, and it's more than being an empath. This is almost being able to read others' thoughts. It wouldn't surprise me, Pile 3, if you've had times where you've been talking to people and you have both said the same thing at the same time, and it happens to you with different people, and you might be like, what the heck is going on? And it's telepathy. You're tapping into telepathy when those moments happen, and through that you're just naturally expressing that without realizing it. And so you do have a power of telepathy as well, but it's not like where you're reading everybody's minds. It's where you're meant to be tapped into this person's mind at this one moment, and Source basically opens the door for you. And there's just this very deep connection that you have to the spiritual realm. It wouldn't surprise me if you identify it as a starseed. And again, I'm not here to say, oh, that's because you are, you aren't. But when we think about what kind of energies are connected to starseeds, like in the world, not of the world, very loving, kind, and caring people that just aren't able to grasp onto why people treat people the way they do. I would never treat someone this way. Like that same energy, right? It's because in your heart, you know the right way to treat people, or you know the common courtesy way to treat people, and not everybody is able to let that part of themselves shine. So regardless if you identify with that or not, what I'm saying is that is because you're in this place of tapping into a spiritual love. And the gift of spiritual love has opened your third eye. It's like wide open. And it wouldn't surprise me if you also deal with migraines or headaches as well. And this is a common side effect of taking on too much. Okay? Especially with this, with the third eye being wide open, this is a common side effect of not giving yourself space, or of trying to figure out everybody else's problems and carry that for them, or trying to be the only one to do anything, right? You can accept help. It's okay for you to accept help. And if you're in a place where you can't accept help, then that's again the burden showing as the illusion, like I'm not open to receiving help. But why are you not open to receiving help? And it could be, well, because people don't do it the way that I need it done, or people don't do it the way that I expect. Like, these are very surface level things that are keeping you held back. And it's just understanding sometimes we have to relinquish that control and allow people to do things the way that they're going to, so that we can receive help and not be carrying everybody on our shoulders and on our backs. Because that was never intended. That was never the plan. But for people who feel this deeply, look, and you have the number 20 card and you have the number 2. So 22 coming out. 2 is all about trusting the process. Magnified here, trusting the process. But with this energy coming out here, it's that reminder that people will take from you if you allow them to. right? And so setting up those solid boundaries for yourself. It's okay to be loving and kind and caring and to give, but when you're giving at the sake or the cost of yourself, that's when you have to say enough is enough and receive help. And even if it's just receiving help from the spiritual realm, let yourself receive that. So there's much deeper meaning to your message today, Pile 3, than just your hidden gifts and talents. This is a message from Source reminding you not to take on the burden of everybody else, because people are going to do what people are going to do regardless if you're there to help them or not. And sometimes we have to look at it as, what happens if I'm not here to solve this for them? They're either going to fail or they're going to figure it out. So no matter if you're present in that moment, can you let them fail or can you let them figure it out? Or is the feeling of having to control the situation so overwhelming that you have to overtake that? And asking that question to yourself will help you begin to unfold, like, okay, I don't need to control this because that's taking on much more than what I'm capable of, which is why you have so much patience. You have this patience to allow people to show up as they're going to show up, but oftentimes you fall back on this control, or you fall back on this people pleasing. It's like, and people pleasing is a form of control and manipulation, but we don't look at it that way, but it is. It's like, I'm pleasing you so that you like me. That's manipulation. It might not be for malicious intent, right? It's not. It comes from a place of just feeling like, if I'm not liked by this person, then there must be something wrong with me. But it's for validation. It's seeking validation, and that's a form of manipulation. And it's, again, you're not doing it maliciously, right? You're not out here like, oh, I'm going to manipulate people so that I can get what I want. That's not what it is. It's doing it subconsciously because of constructs. These are very surface level things, right? People pleasing is still a very surface level action. It's something that everybody does because we're conditioned to believe that's what we have to do. So this feels like Source is reminding you to not fall into that place of people pleasing, that you're beyond that, to listen to the inner voice and to remember that you're not here to carry everybody on your back as well. Wow, this just went really deep all of a sudden. Okay, so let's get some of the oracles out and find out more about this, Source. What is pile number 3's hidden gift or talent? Thank you. Yeah, mutable. We have surrender, fluidity, and welcoming change. Surrendering control is coming through again. Opening yourself up to the possibility, right? Not saying it has to be XYZ, but that there's a possibility for it to be exactly as it's meant to be. And sometimes that's scary. Look, we have change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So you do help change people's lives, but I also feel like the reason that this might have felt like such a huge curse is because people expect you to do all the work for them too. And I feel like that comes from a past part of yourself, and you might be learning, or you have learned, to move past that. Honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. And with this coming out, Source is saying and reminding you to be honest with yourself about where you're at on your journey, and about what's going on with you personally. Because if you're not honest with yourself right now, no one else is going to be honest with you. And that's not even about like, oh, everybody's lying to me, so of course everybody's lying to me, they all hate me. That's not what this is about. It's just reminding yourself, like, if you can't do something for yourself, how can you ask others to do that for you? So when you're blatantly honest with yourself where you're at, am I doing people pleasing? Am I falling back into old habits? Am I still in the societal construct that isn't serving me, that hasn't been serving me? Not beating yourself up for that, right? That's okay. We've all done that. I've done that. I was a terrible people pleaser, especially when I started my journey. Oh my goodness, it was awful. Like, I go back and I look at that person and I'm just like, if I could have just told her that she was so valuable as she was, but I wouldn't have learned the lessons that I learned along the way. And just reminding yourself that it's okay. Like, that's just us being human. That's us having this human experience and experiencing the human emotions and things that we thought it had to be, which are the illusions. Perspective with Milky Way. Yeah, changing your perspective. How are you perceiving or how are you perceiving, like the sensory feeling, right? Your perception is all about your sensory experience of what's going on, and that's something that's coming through very strongly. And that in turn, it impacts your perspective, how you're seeing, right? So paying attention, is what I'm seeing based on what I'm feeling, or is what I'm seeing based on a truth? Because you're very, very sensitive to the realm around you. Soul family, yeah. And this is you wanting to connect with people who are on the same level as you, or who are of like-minded people. And I feel like Source is trying to bring you, soul family, if they haven't already, like they may have already brought somebody into your life that's feeling like soul family, but I feel like there's also a lot of healing the sacral chakra and the heart chakra, as well as rebalancing the third eye chakra. Your third eye might be wide open, but it can absolutely be out of balance being wide open if all the other chakras aren't in alignment. And I feel like that's what's happening right now, is that there's a rebalancing of the third eye while also reconnecting with the heart and the sacral chakra, so that you can ground yourself in the awareness of what is, where does pile number 3 start and stop, and where does another person start and stop. Wow, I wasn't going to get so many, but they're coming out. Yeah, we have the sun. Look, didn't I say that? Shine, sparkle, and still the spotlight? Like, it's up to you to show your light. No one else can do that for you. And that is a gift, to be able to show your light to the world. And we got that in the beginning when Neptune was just being there all by its lonesome, wanting to be seen, wanting to be talked about. It wanted the attention, so we gave it the attention it needed, right? Fear. Yeah, there's a fear to go through the gate here. There's a fear to go through the door. The darkness. I don't know what's on the other side, right? The fear, like we were talking about, control is a sign of fear. And it doesn't necessarily have to be control. That's just the one they keep coming back to. And so what they're showing here is that not letting your fear get the best of you, right? And that is so much easier said than done. But just when you have those moments where, okay, if it is control, or if it's feeling like I have to blend back into the shadows, or whatever it is, when you have those moments, reminding yourself, is this my belief, or is this someone else's belief? Is this a societal construct that's been conditioned in my belief system? Or is this because this is reality? And what is that? And asking yourself these questions will help you decipher where it is that you're maybe not putting your light forward. So we have Mars coming out. Look, move forward and defend self. Yeah, it's time for you to take action. And Venus, wow. This is a balancing of the masculine and the feminine energies. We have give and receive love, find value, and see beauty in all things. So you're balancing out the masculine and the feminine. And we were talking about that with the third eye, balancing out the third eye chakra. And the third eye chakra is basically a feminine chakra. The heart chakra, the sacral chakra, and the third eye are all feminine energy chakras. But here we are balancing out the feminine energy in your energetic field as well, with the orange from this change card, right? Finding alignment through our chakra system and making sure that we have equal currents going up through the nadis, and knowing that through the liberation current and through the manifestation current, okay? But that's what this feels like, is balancing out the nadis. Wow, we have shaman, ancient healing wisdom. This is what I'm saying. Like, you have this access to ancient healing wisdom. You have this access to ancient knowledge. And for you, it seems like a no-brainer. But it's not. It's a gift that you've been given to spread love and knowledge around the world if you so choose. There is always enough with Sedna. Also, you may have native backgrounds, like Native American backgrounds, that's coming through really strong, or Aborigine is coming in, or like tribal backgrounds. You might have tribal backgrounds. That's coming in really strongly right now. But there's always enough. Remembering that if you're feeling like I have to give out to everybody else until I have nothing left, that stopping and reminding yourself there's also enough for you. And I feel like that's something that's very important here. Visionary with Emotep. Yeah, you might also have ties to ancient Egypt as well, or have an Egyptian bloodline. But I feel like that's the thing, like you see things, right? Again, with visionary, your third eye is wide open. You're seeing things. You're seeing things with ancient healing wisdom. You're seeing things that there's always enough. There's things that you notice that people aren't seeing. And that's because it's your third eye that's showing you. Very psychic. You could have prophetic dreams. You could have prophetic visions as well. We have 5th house. Let's have some fun. Remember that it doesn't have to be so serious. You could draw prophetic things as well. So you could draw things and then all of a sudden it comes true. Or you could write things and all of a sudden it comes true. Capricorn, buckle down and get to work. Yeah, it's time to move forward. That's that energy. It's time for you to show up and move forward from this old energy. And that's okay, right? It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. But when you show up consistently, you'll get there. Tie up loose ends. Yeah. This is that blending, the balancing again, the blending of opposites, the light and the dark, right? The shadow and the light of life. And that's that masculine and feminine energy. This is balancing that out again. Tying up loose ends. Right now, I feel like this looks like the scarab from Egypt. They always had the scarab. It's looking like the wings that they have open on the scarab here. And then I know this is a pyramid in there too, but it was looking like the scarab. So the scarab beetle might mean something to you as well. It might hold deeper value. This came out in another pile. Oh, and of course, if you've watched all 3 piles, leave a purple heart below. That's for my Purple Heart Club. That's for those of you that spend the whole reading with me. And I just want to say thank you. I know what that means. And even if you're not part of the Purple Heart Club, thank you for spending any amount of time with me. That just really does mean so much to me that you're here. We have Ask Again Later. Yeah, I feel like sometimes you have a hard time trusting your intuition. Or trusting that it's okay for you to set a solid boundary. And that's what, with this Ask Again Later card, it's reminding you that it's okay for you to get clarification. But even if to get clarification you need to set a boundary, making sure that you do that. Because your energetic field is a very important thing to take care of. Because it can be bombarded by so much outside of you. And remembering that you're always protected, that's something that's very, very important to remember here for you, pile number 3. Like, Source didn't give you a weak auric field or anything like that. But if you're not taking care of yourself, that's when we find holes in our auric field, which let negative energy seep in, or let, you know, that heavy, dark energy seep in. And that's just that reminder that when you take care of yourself, that keeps you in your prime, okay? Anger. Wow. It's interesting because I was getting that, like, there's a lot of upset energy coming from you, or from this pile in general. There's a lot of upset energy coming in. And, you know, it's like being mad at the world, or being mad at this gift, or feeling like, oh, this is not a good gift to have. Even maybe at the beginning when I was talking about it, you could have been like, oh, like, this is not, can it be something else? But it's just that this is the gift that you have. Like, this is something that is valuable. This is something that is very important. But if you're not seeing the value in it, how will you ever be able to bring your value to others? And reminding yourself that the gift is a part of you. You know, it's inherent to you. And it can be difficult at times. It can be very difficult. And it can feel very isolating. And I feel like with anger coming out, like maybe you have angered people by tapping into this gift, or being very blatant with this gift. And that's okay. It's not your job to take care of everybody's emotions. And maybe that's where the people-pleasing energy was coming in as well, as like feeling like you had to take care of everyone else's emotions. And, oh my gosh, I'm not allowed to say anything because everybody's going to get upset. Like, don't hide your truth. Again, going back to what we were saying in the beginning, don't hide your truth just because other people get upset when you're speaking your truth. Like, your truth is your truth. It doesn't mean it has to be the world's truth. That's not why we're speaking our truth. We're speaking our truth so that we're expressing ourselves freely. We're an expression of Source, and Source is going to have many different expressions. People who agree with us and people who don't, but that's still an expression of Source in this physical realm, and that's okay. And so I feel like for you, it's just that reminder that when you're expressing yourself, it's not about other people, and we should never make it about other people. It's always about ourselves. And that can be a difficult thing to remember. Let's take a look at your card. We're going to read this from the book. We have the Androgyne. Wow. with 62. There's a lot going on in this card. You have the ibis, you have the rainbow, you have the spider, you have the light and the shadow, and it's even on the same side as that card. The light and the shadow, the light and the shadow. 62, 65, 64, 63, 62, rebus. Androgen. Okay. It says, through an alchemical image of completion, the androgen makes a beginner of us all. Regardless of gender, orientation, or sexual preference, allow yourself to know nothing today. Wow. Did I not say that at the beginning? Is that you're a student of life, but a teacher to many? Oh, my battery's about to die. I better hurry up. Okay, so didn't I say that, though? I'm pretty sure I said that on your pile. You're a student to life, but a teacher to many. So I thought that was such a cool way to say it. It says, make a list of your contradictions. Start with sometimes I'm, and sometimes I'm. Keep writing quickly until you feel the inclusion power of the archetype awakens. Yeah, so that back and forth, like, of course, but also this other, the shadow aspect. It says creative transcendence, multiplicity in the artist. It says the androgen is a deeply revered image in alchemy, both of Hermes and Aphrodite. Hermaphroditos has been classically depicted as a balanced union of divine masculine, the sun, and the divine feminine, the moon. Yet today's alchemist knows the androgen is far more nuanced than that. It encompasses the infinite spectrum and reveals itself in ever-changing, non-binary forms. The divine hermaphrodite defies definition, as it is a deeply personal felt experience. Accessing this fluid and enlightened state requires us to slip into the contradictory realm of the senses. Wow, and that's what I was saying, like how you're so sensitive to the nuances around you, right? Breath by breath, we are drawn into our limbs, our fluids, our orifices, organs, and cells. We let go of rules and labels. Judgment is suspended. The gods are present, as are the creative mysteries of the underworld. For a brief moment, we hold all of our complexities in one loving form. Like a newborn, we know not our name, gender, age, or location. We are the embodied artists, embraced unconditionally by sun and moon. To go deeper, read the poem The Idea of Ancestry by Etheridge Knight, and to ponder sexuality without language and intimacy without sexuality. Wow. So again, and I feel like that makes sense for the anger card to come out as well here, because it's like this constant blending of opposites. It can be very overwhelming at times, and sometimes it's very underwhelming as well. So it's seeing that infinite wisdom coming in, and it's seeing that ancient wisdom coming in and being applied, which makes sense to you. Of course it makes sense to you because you're the one that's carrying it. But then seeing how it doesn't make sense to the world out there, and then feeling ostracized because of this. And Source is reminding you that when you slip into the contradictory, feeling that isolation or feeling like you don't belong, when you're able to slip into that and to integrate that into the sense of belonging, or vice versa, slipping into a sense of belonging, a sense of being heard and seen. And connecting that and integrating that with the sense of not belonging. What happens in that moment? For you, so much. That's where you gain that infinite wisdom. This went so deep, so fast. So this is what I see here for you, pile number 3. If you feel like this is your reading, leave the rose emoji down below and say, I am both beautiful and painful. I am both light and dark. And regardless, I choose to show my light no matter, because I belong and I should be seen in this world as I am. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It has everything you need, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member. And really quickly, my clock says 5:55. So that might resonate with someone here. But with that, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very powerful message, pile number 3. And until next time, stay human. Bye.